hello again, everyone. We're going to try this again. See, writers are perseverant. They love perseverance because we're not giving up. So here we all are now. You're going to get all of us at once for this live chat session. And I'm going to activate the Q&A right now. And if you're watching, this is a launch party for Lumiere, book one of the Illumination Paradox series, yay, which came out today, yay! And thanks for all my friends, my wonderful friends, for putting up with me and going through this crazy adventure of the first time we've ever done Google Hangouts, and we've obviously been having some technical difficulties. So I have with me tonight Veronica Rossi, I have Risa Walker, I have Rachel Marks, I have Christina Farley, and I have Elise Arden. And I'm so thrilled they're all here with me. So I'm going to ask people, if you're out there, if you're still there, if you found us, which is awesome, if you wouldn't mind like spreading the new link if you have a chance, if you were so inclined, that'd be great, so we can get everyone with us. The Q&A is open if you want to ask some questions, and Veronica's here just for a little bit with us now because she's got to run off and pick up some kids. So if anybody has any great questions for Veronica to start with, that would be great. And I'm going to ask Veronica the question just so she can answer. So Veronica, you are just finished a new series, I understand, or the book one of a new series. Is it going to be a series? And can you tell us a little bit about that? It's a big departure from what you were writing with Under the Never Sky, but it sounds so exciting, and I love your cover.
Oh, thank you. Well, first, I want to say congratulations. I'm really excited for you, Jackie, and thank you for having me here and all of us here. And I'm a little bummed that I won't be able to hang out and talk to everybody because I have to run off and take some very eager boys to football practice, and they're very frightening in their pads, so I don't want to irritate them. But I'm working on I had my first trilogy that finished up last year, and that was kind of a post-apocalyptic adventure trilogy, the Under the Never Sky series, and now I'm about to start a duology with Tortine, and the first book is called Writers, and here is an ARC, an advanced reader copy of it. It is pretty different. It's a two book series, so pretty short, just a duology. But I really wanted to just kind of like try something really different, and it's this book is a male point of view, and it's kind of an urban fantasy. It's about four teenage boys who unwittingly become reincarnations of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and there's a romance in it with a girl who is pretty pivotal to the story, and the second book is hers. So, and I'm working on that one right now. So that's a little bit about what I've got going on.
That is really cool. Very, very cool. So I'm excited to read that. I know I heard a little bit about it earlier on, but I didn't know you were doing like the one book for the boy point of view and one for the girl. That's really great. I think that's refreshing. That's new. I don't think I've seen that done before, so that's going to be really good. So
yeah, it's been a challenge so far. That's I don't know. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be difficult, but I really fell in love with the protagonist for the first book, and I thought I was going to be like, it was going to be enough to write one point of view in the boy's mind space, but apparently the mind of like an 18, 19-year-old male is not an uncomfortable place for me to be, which is a little frightening, a little scary. But
there's
anyway,
a story there somewhere. There's
a lot of fun.
Another book in that.
Anyway.
That's really great, though. So, and it's so different, right? So it's an urban fantasy. Can you tell people watching what an urban fantasy exactly is, in case they're not really, completely...
I don't know that that's actually technically where it would fit. I always have a hard time. I don't know if any of you also feel this way, but I have always have such a hard time really defining what the genre of my book is, because even with the Under the Never Sky series, it really got lumped into the dystopian craze, but it wasn't really a dystopian. It was a post-apocalyptic kind of a near future adventure romance, you know. So it's all these different things, but I think booksellers really want to be able to call your book something so they know where to put it on the shelf. And it's the same thing with writers. You know, it's a modern day fantasy, and it's not really urban fantasy. It's not. It doesn't have, you know, I think some of the trademarks of that genre. But you have to call it something, otherwise people go, well, what do we do with it? You know, and so that's kind of been my experience with my books so far. I just write them, and I really try to let, you know, other people figure out what to call them. So that's not a great answer. It's a very professional answer, like, well, it meets these criteria, but no.
No, that cleared it up. Just it's a contemporary, it takes place in modern time, but it's a fantasy as well. That clears it all up. So, and it's exactly right. Magical horses. Okay, I'm in. Anybody else in? I'm totally
really awesome.
Yeah.
Totally awesome.
And I totally think that we all have had that problem with not fitting on a specific shelf necessarily. That was like my biggest problem.
Have you all had that happen too?
Yeah, and that was, you know, a lot of when I was going out on submission, that was a lot of what the issue was with, you know, it was we really liked this story about, you know, where would we put it? How did we market it? Is it steampunk? Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Because I blended the two, right? So I think you're right. It's so little real estate in the bookstores these days. They need a really clear path of where they're going to put things and how they're going to sell things. And
I mean, the more clearly you can define your pitch and your genre, the easier it is for it to sell, and you can get to, you know, you can get to your readership faster. You know, it probably behooved me to know exactly where it fit and to really be able to describe what that is. And honestly, I mean, I might get there as I start touring with the book and like really figuring out, you know, and promoting it. I'll get a level of comfort with it that I found with the Never Sky series. That, you know, I have a much easier time talking about that book, but I'm kind of still in the ramp up stages of promoting this because it's not out until next February. So I just finished writing it about a month or two ago, and or just with the polish edits and everything, and so I'm making that shift that we all make from writing to promoting, and it's like learning a whole different language, you know, when you're thinking about the book as a product instead of a creative endeavor. So
right. I think we've all experienced that as well. So anybody else want to comment about that? Exactly, going from it being as you said, a creative endeavor to a product, and putting on those different hats and that kind of thing. So anybody else want to speak to that experience or not?
Becky's going to start calling names.
Okay, we won't speak to that experience.
Hermione, yes.
You must know, Risa. You're all into that world.
Well, I've had to do it both, I guess, on two different levels, because the books are with Skyscape, and then the novellas are self-published. So to some extent, I'm doing it at the same time. I'm marketing one part of it as I'm writing another part of it. So I've kind of learned to take one hat off and quickly put another one on. But it is a very different mindset, and that's probably why I walk around and people think I'm schizoid a lot of the time, because I'm trying to do too many different things at once.
Yes, it can be very, very challenging, and I'm finding that as well. I still have some self-pub materials out there, and I will continue to self-pub because I really, really enjoy that. I enjoy the freedom. I enjoy the creative, you know, making my own covers. That's one of my absolute favorite things in the world. And that kind of stuff, having, you know, that. But it's also been a whole new world selling it to Skyscape and going through their kind of marketing engine and learning all that business and, you know, what to do there to support that marketing spin. And I'm sure, Veronica, you've been through that with traditional pub, and everyone else has been. All the other lovely authors are Skyscape authors, and also authors at other destinations. But I think we've all had that experience of supporting the traditional pub situation and what we've had to do. to get ready for that. And it's stressful, but it's also kind of fun, you know.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much a part of being a writer is not actually writing. And, you know, when you sit down with someone who's not a writer and you describe your average day, I think they're always surprised at how much marketing we do and how much of it is just business. So, yeah.
And I think a lot of indie writers are actually surprised to hear how much you do as a traditionally published author. That it's not. A lot of them think that you know, magically there's somebody who does everything for you whenever you have a traditional publisher. But that's just not the case. You still do a lot of marketing, and sometimes it's hard to get back into your characters and back into your story when you've been tweeting and Facebooking and all of those other things for the better part of the day. Sometimes the entire day, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it's nice to have a time in the early morning before anyone else has woken up, and I get a lot of my writing done during that time because then I can really focus, and the rest of the world is quiet. And then later in the day, I can be like, you know, promoting and talking about my book or going to events. It's just easier for me to focus, like in chunks.
Definitely.
I have to reverse that. I'm brain dead in the morning, so it's like midnight to 2 a.m. that I'm in.
All right. Well, it's still quiet then.
I kind of do that once in a while, Raisa. I do that. But I also do what Christina does. I try to do it first thing in the morning, get my words on the page. Because I find, I don't know if the rest of you find, but you can really get lost in marketing. You can get so consumed with it that you're just constantly, you can just wake in the morning and go, I'll just do this one thing. And then the whole day is gone.
Sucked into it, yeah.
More fan mail you can answer. There's, you know, another post you can do on your blog. You can spiff up those banners or whatever. There's always something you could be doing. So if I could write early in the morning, I would do it first, but the brain doesn't work that way.
I think this is a great mix of people because I love that Veronica's on with us because she is basically trad pub and has not self-pub at this point, or I don't know if she ever desires to, but you never know what the future might hold. But she definitely, I know from being friends with Veronica for a number of years now, that she does a lot of marketing, spends a lot of time with that hat on, and I think a lot of people, as you said, Raisa, don't think that's true. They think, oh, I'll get that contract, and this big company will just look after me, and I can sit and write. And so
the agent is a fairy godmother, that the agent swoops down, and then all of your troubles fly away.
Right.
Really? I thought that's what agents are supposed to do. I'm confused.
Who's your agent? I love that my Stairmaster is, like, my treadmill desk is right there. That's where I do my marketing, right there. Right.
What do you do that's marketing? What do you class as marketing?
There.
Because you're not making covers and you're not doing the things that a self-pub are, but what are some of the things you do, Veronica, that would be marketing?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, it varies book to book. It has for me. You know, it's everything from doing answering interview questions to doing blog posts to, you know, I honestly consider social media marketing. I don't dislike social media, but I really don't think that I would spend half as much time on it as I do because I'm a writer and because, you know, I'm trying to have a presence out there and keep relationships up with, you know, with readers and with colleagues. I'm a pretty private person, so if I wasn't a writer, I think I'd probably, I don't know if I'd have any online presence. I think I'd probably be like the ultimate lurker, you know, and just read stuff and not really comment. I feel more comfortable, you know, as a little wallflower observing, but you have to have a voice, you know, in today's modern publishing environment. I mean, I think you really help yourself if you do. So I think social media for me is marketing, and I think from like coming up with, you know, like I am desperately needing business cards right now with the new book covers on them and bookmarks, and I have to mail out books, and I have to, you know, I'm about to get the marketing plan for writers pretty soon, and then I'll see what my publisher has in mind and where I can supplement, and see what they have planned. Maybe there are things that I want to do that aren't on that plan, and and that's been the case with every book. You just see what more can be done. And like someone said, I'm sorry, I can't tell because your faces are really small, but there's always more that we can do. And
so it's essentially the same. And I think that's so interesting because I think all of us, Elise, you also self-published beforehand, and I don't know, Rachel, did you as well, or?
I just did a novella and I didn't really promote it. I just was tired of it sitting in my documents folder. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. You got it out there and found some readers for it.
This is probably something I'm going to end up doing, so I should practice. And I thought it was a good kind of a way to test the waters, see what it was like, and
That's good. Well, and Elise, you did as well, and I know you did a ton of marketing for yourself, and even made your own video. She made her own trailer. Like, she literally hired camera people, went out on the street. She literally, I don't know if you've seen her trailer, but it's got these nails that are popping up out really, really frighteningly out of this, piece of wood that's jiggling. And that's Elise under there pounding the nails while the dog is
cool.
So it's pretty cool.
I like that.
And her video, her trailer went all the way to it was noticed by USA Today and put on the list as one of the best. So that's really cool. So
I'm going to check it out immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting my turning.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so I know you've done a ton of marketing, and so same kind of thing. It's so interesting that a lot of what we're doing is exactly what you're doing, Veronica, and then maybe a few more hats for us because we're doing our own trailers and we're doing our own covers and that. But yeah, I would say it's great to see the experience is not that different, really, across, And then, of course, with Skyscape, we're doing the same thing as you, supplementing a lot of what they do with a lot of what we do. So you got to be more than just a writer, right? So Elise, tell us a little bit about your marketing experience.
You do, but I also kind of feel like, I've asked a lot of readers, I'm like, would you rather hang out with me on Twitter, or would you rather I wrote another book? And 10 out of 10 times they say write another book. It's really, and it's easy to forget. Don't you think? I mean, it's easy to forget, but what we're really doing is we're telling them stories, and I think they'd rather read our stories than hang out with us for the most part.
I have them yell at me, "Get back in the cave," when they know I'm
Really?
something. And
you have a great fan base.
They will do it.
Great
They'll actually say, "Get back in the cave," and it's like, "Thank you. That's what I needed to hear." I'm
I
not
love it. I love it.
Honestly, I was just stalling.
Okay, Elise, tell us a little bit about your marketing, and then I'm going to get to Christina and ask her. So, because Christina is middle grade, so that's interesting too. It's a little bit different. So, Elise, go ahead. Give us some words of wisdom.
I don't know if I have anything to say that hasn't already been said by everyone else. I definitely share Veronica's sentiments as far as if I wasn't writing, I probably wouldn't do any of this stuff. Although I do feel like I get a lot of my news from Twitter and stuff like that at this point, but I think I would consume a lot, but not necessarily push out as much information as I do. I don't know. I write in the morning, just like Christina was talking about, because otherwise there's always something to do. Like Raisa was saying, and it is kind of like a vortex. And I try to avoid the vortex for as long as possible once I wake up, because I know that once I dip a toe in it, it's just so much work and energy, and the amount of energy it takes to then switch gears again after that is so hard. And then a lot of people know, if you do follow me on any social media stuff, because I'm constantly saying it, I'm turning the internet off. So I'll either just turn it off at my house, or I go to specific cafes to write that I know the internet doesn't work. and things like that. Or sometimes it even gets so, I'm so sad, like I have to not even bring my computer like today. So I'm like, I am that unfocused that I'm just bringing a pen and a notepad to somewhere else so I cannot be distracted. So yeah, it's crazy, you know, trying to balance everything, but that's just, you know, that's the way it is.
And Christina, tell us a little bit about like middle grade, because I think it's fascinating. Your series has done so amazingly well, and it's so well received. And the schools are in love with it, teachers are in love with it. You have teaching guides, I understand, with it, and I'm just like, wow, like middle grade. Sometimes people say, oh, that's such a tough sell, and, there's no real big, the market's not as big for that, but you're just, like, taking it on. So tell us about that, girl.
Well, the Gilded Slayer series are not middle grade. They're actually young adults. They're a little older. But I do write middle grade as well. But the Gilded series, a lot of middle schoolers like it, and it's gotten really popular with them as well. So I do a lot of school visits. I mean, I'm a teacher, so taught for many years, and so, yeah, I love getting in front of the students and talking to kids about books and about writing, about life and adventures. And usually I just get up and talk about all my stories from living overseas. And, yeah, that keeps them entertained for sure.
Yeah,
but, yeah, I really love going to school. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes. So you've got all that preparation for school visits and stuff, too. That's another thing.
Yeah, it's like I have PowerPoints that I make up and games and activities at the events, but, a lot of it just comes naturally because I've taught for so long. And so really I could get in front of anybody and they're like, okay, talk about characterization. I'm like, okay. And I have like my own little toolbox of ideas and things I can do. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm in front of kids, it's great. And teens are so fun to be with. But sometimes I get really nervous when I'm with adults. I was at CVWI conference, and I'm like, there's like a crowd of adults, and we were like debut authors, and we were talking about our books and being debuts. I'm like, I'm terrified. There's adults here, But if I'm with a bunch of teens or middle schoolers, I'm totally in. So yeah.
That's so funny because I think we would all report that same thing. But except for maybe me. I just love people, and I can be anywhere, and I'm good. But I'm one of those rare, very extroverted writers, and I have grown to understand my introverted friends. So I have to, shut off at a certain hour because they're all like, okay, we can't be extroverted any longer. We can't go on like you. So it's kind of funny, but it's true. But then when they get with their audience, I see it, right? Like they get with their fans and their signings and stuff, and it's like there's their element. Yeah. So.
Definitely.
So how about I'm going to play a little game, and everybody give me 4 good words to describe your latest main character in your book. You can tell the main character's name and the book and give me the 4 words that best describe them. Now everybody's looking down going, don't pick me.
So are we talking about our work in progress or our current book?
Whatever book you want to talk about, Christina. If you want to talk about the one coming up or the one that's out, that's fine. So I'm going to shoot to Veronica first just in case she has to go. So
I do have to go. This is so hard. Okay, I'm working on a character right now, and I'm getting to know her better. But I will say she is secretive. She's elusive. She's she has a lot of honor, and she is pretty kick-ass.
So this is who in what book, or do you want to say?
Yeah, no, that's okay. She's the protagonist for the sequel to Riders. So she's the girl who takes over. And it's interesting because I wrote her from as an outsider point of view, and now I'm like in her head. So it's I've never had this situation before where I've gotten to know a character from another character's point of view before, and then, actually, no, I have done that. But this for some reason, I've done it actually 3 times. So, But this for some reason it's a little tougher because she's part of her thing is that she's very secretive. So I feel like I'm getting to know her, whereas with when I've done it in the past, I jumped into a head that I already knew really well. So it's been challenging but pretty rewarding. So I'm going to listen to your answers and I'm going to hop off. But thank you so much, Jackie, for inviting me to this, and it was so nice meeting all of you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Okay.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Christina next. Go. It's going to be.
Well, I usually have about 4 or more projects going on at the same time. So I don't know. I have a lot of things going on. But a book that I recently sent to my agent, like last week, main character, she is not sure of herself, actually. And she is kind of on that path of discovering who she is throughout the story. And she's very passionate. And she's kick-ass as well. And yeah, definitely. All my characters really are, actually. But yeah, she's just definitely that she's insecure in herself, and she's learning to become more secure in who she is. So yeah,
Okay, great.
it's fun to write.
All right. Let's go with Rachel.
Yay! Okay, well, I'll just say Aiden, because that's the books that are out right now, Darkness Brutal, and, or as my friend would say, Darkness Brutale. Dramatic.
French twist. Why not?
Aiden is the main character, obviously, but, gosh, I feel like I've lived with him so long. He's like a kid. He's like one of my kids. I would say he doesn't trust people very easily. I don't know what the word is for that. And he is very protective of the people that he loves. He's protective. And he kind of underestimates himself a little bit, and he tends to, well, obviously he's kick-ass. So.
Of course.
We're all just going to own that one.
Requirement, right?
That's just for all of us, that one.
Yeah, so.
All right. Okay, so Elise, go.
All right.
She's writing things down, P.S. I've been watching her. No, I'm kidding.
Cheating. That's cheating. So not fair.
Talk on the phone all the time, video chat all the time. So this is like the first time that I'm just not sitting here eating. So she just always eating when I'm talking to her. It's like my lunch break. So I am working on the sequel to The Casket Girls, and it is like discovering one of the characters from the first book in a totally different way as well. And this guy, I'm not going to say who it is. People can guess if they want. But he is fiercely loyal, like almost loyal to a detriment. And he can be very abrasive at times. And I don't know if I was thinking about brave, but I want to say fearless instead of brave. Maybe fearless to a detriment as well. But he's very, very, very kind-hearted. I think he's going to be the kind of guy who, like, wouldn't hurt, an insect. And he would go and, like, bring it outside. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Aww. I really like
that.
For that.
I like this character.
I could get over all the other things as long as he took the insect outside. No.
Yeah. Those awful, horrible insects.
Yeah. Unless it's a mosquito, then I got a problem.
Those are going down.
Those are just going down. Or one of those Japanese beetles that's eating my rose garden that's really got me upset. Those need to go down. But anyways, I'm having quite the battle here, and I'm losing. But anyways, this whole book and that. But Rosa, your turn.
Okay. I was debating whether I was going to go with Prudence, who is the heroine of Time's Mirror, but I think I'm going to stick with Kate. She's a little easier to describe in some ways. Kate is smart. Kate is Definitely loyal. She tends to try to. She's described as having a golden retriever personality by someone close to her, in that she wants to believe the best of everybody. She's friendly. She's loyal. And she's also confused, and that's because of all the time travel, the various timelines. Anybody who's jumping around as much as she is going to be confused. There's no other way around it. And I think I'll toss in Kick-Ass too, because other people have described her that way, and she does have a few nice karate moves. So
good for her.
It's definitely Kick-Ass.
Okay, so I'll do mine now. I'm going to do two just because, it's my party.
Really?
Oh, by the way, before Veronica goes, I was really rude earlier, and I should have handed out the virtual treats that I have here for you. You like those? I went to the Great Bakery, and those butter tarts right there are to absolute die for, just in case you were wondering. And those are chocolate fudgy.
Oh my God.
3 fudgies.
You're horrible. Tempting us.
Yeah. So
it doesn't have any calories. So.
Oh yeah, there's
Right.
a million calories in this. I almost brought sugar bread back. Do you guys know what sucre bread is? Oh, it is just like bread made out of lard dipped in brown sugar, rolled in more sugar, with sugar on top. And it is absolutely amazing. Last week I was at the bakery and I bought a half a loaf because this little old 90-year-old man says he would like some, and they were baking it and you could smell it, and everybody wanted it. So this little old man was with his daughter and he's like, I really would like some. And she's like, Dad, you don't need that. And I was thinking, I don't either, but I'd like some. So I went up and said, I'll split it with ya. And he's like, really? You'll split a loaf? And I'm like, yes. And so we asked the lady if it was possible, and she's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. So, made both ways. The two of us went home with a little half loaf, and that was gone. Just gone really quickly. So anyway, back to characters. Okay, so Violet, who is the main character in Lumiere and the Illumination Paradox series, I would say, because you guys stole Kick-Ass, I would say that she's stubborn. She's willful. She has a very large heart, and she's extremely loyal as well. She is, to her detriment, stubborn, though. Like, she has an affliction. She actually suffers from epileptic seizures. So because of that, she's had to learn to kind of trust in herself as much as she can, and when she has some issues with that, then she has to trust in others, and that's hard for her. So she likes to try to always keep herself completely straight and going forward and knowing what she's doing, and so sometimes she shuts people out when she should listen. And she also has a bad habit of talking before she thinks. It's just, knee-jerk comes out of the mouth, and then later feels really bad about it. So I would say that's her. And I just want to do Iris, because Iris is my favorite character in the book. And Iris is silent, because she does not speak, which is a real challenge to write, and I really love writing her. And she is fiercely, fiercely, fiercely loyal. And she is extremely opinionated, which is pretty hard to portray in a silent character, which is a lot of fun. And she is also a daredevil. She is like James Bond of the Victorian era. She's got a gadget, and it wields power, and you're on the wrong side of her, you're going to lose an eye. Let's just put it that way. It's just going to happen. No qualms about it. She will detonate the bomb. So she's really fun. I really like her. So those are my two characters. So, does anybody else have a game or a question they think they can ask the group?
Jackie, I'm going to run off, but bye, guys.
Yeah, I need to go too. Put my kids to bed.
Bye.
And
Oh, Night, Christina.
So good night, guys. I'm gonna put my kids to
I
bed
know
now.
what she's doing is we're going to have some giveaways, which I'm not sure how we're going to do now, but because we're still on our, I'm still here. So I think we will put it out there. We have some, ebooks or books available. So if we get anyone signing in, then we'll just pick people who sign in, and they'll be winners. How's that for the night?
That sounds
Whoever leaves
perfect.
comments on YouTube.
Right. Whoever comments on YouTube will get a
There
whole
you go. Yeah.
best comment on YouTube. Let's say for each person, directed at each person, we will contact them with a book.
If they ask questions, we can always answer the questions, even if we're not able to answer them live tonight. I'm
Yeah.
answer any questions in the comments. I'll check over the next few days.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a really fun question. It might take a little
Well,
bit.
before you go, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, Christina. So, okay, so this might take a minute to think about, but I think it's a really fun question. So let's try this one. What would be the entrance music for your main character? If it had an entrance song, what would it be?
Oh man, do we have to compose it or do we pick a song?
No, you just tell us what it would be. Great question, right? So.
Entrance music or theme song?
Yeah, like if they were to enter a room, what would they enter to? Okay, so like I'll go
Okay, a
first.
groove. It's got to be a groove. That's not going to work.
Eye of the Tiger. I mean, she'd be like, dude.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking of.
Right? She'd be totally all over that song, right? So that is her entrance music. So now that you have the idea.
What's the one from Back to the Future? Got to get back in time. That's the one. The one that plays with Michael J. Fox hitting the
Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis. Yes,
Yeah, I think that's it.
that is Kate's
Gonna be.
entrance song.
I think mine would have to be an AC/DC song. So like Hell's Bells or Back in Black or one of those. Or I have a little grungy.
Perfect. How about you, Lisa? Are you still just laughing, or do you have a song yet?
Well, I feel like mine is a little bit obvious because in the book she develops an obsession with David Bowie. So it would be Lady Stardust.
Oh, there you go. I thought you were going to say Major Tom, and I was going to go, no, seriously, no, that can't be true. So at least you got a
what's
great
yours?
list of- What, mine?
Yes.
Oh, I said Eye of the Tiger. She would
Oh, it
come
is
to Eye of the Tiger,
Okay.
yeah. Even though it's Victorian, I mean, I totally know it's not Victorian, but there isn't any really Victorian music, so
Smash them all
No.
together.
what are you going to do there? So at least you had a bunch of really great questions. What's on your list? What's on your list?
Well, I have been reading Lumiere, so I put some questions together for Jackie, but anyone can answer. But I know when I talk to people about Lumiere, a lot of my people don't know what steampunk is because I'm more in like the horror, paranormal world. So I know also there's a lot of like different definitions of steampunk. So I asked you, author of a steampunk series, what do you define as steampunk, or what makes something steampunk?
Absolutely. Okay, that is a big thing because people will say, oh, I don't read steampunk or I don't know what it is or whatever. So then they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I know what it is now after you tell them. So I like to define it as, like when people ask me, I always say, well, you kind of take some of the best qualities of the past, say the Victorian or Edwardian era, that's usually when they're placed, and then you dystopian in them all out. You just make them go crazy. And so you create an alternate world that, has all gone seriously bad. bad in some way or is about to go really bad in some way. And there's usually themes that run through steampunk books, and they are, based on the fact that you steal from the past. So, the Edwardian or Victorian era, turn of the century times, men were very dominant over women, and so it's a lot of the themes are oppression of women, and women, in steampunk books, they just don't put up with that. They just fight back against that, but it's kind of always there as a barrier, and they're always fighting against it. Another thing, pardon, Raisa?
A lot of them did anyway. They just didn't make it into the history books.
Right, exactly. So some kick-ass women again we're talking about of the era. So another theme is man versus machine. That's always popular. So there's always some kind of exploration of machine going wrong that, of course, was created by man. And so that's explored in those books. Another thing is always themes of good versus evil are also explored a lot in steampunk books. But so you take what's great about that era and fun, like everything before this combustion engine, steampunk. So if it was created with steam or cranks or levers, anything before the engine, you can take those things and put them in this new world. And you can also, which is really fun, which I did in my book, and some people enjoy it and some people question it, but you can take things from today, like say computers or cell phones or whatever, and put them back in your world as long as they run on things like steam and crank and things that would have been viable in that world. And so that's really fun. I love the gadget parts of making those books. I love coming up with the inventions and gadgets. So that's
cool. I just learned something new. I didn't realize that the engine was kind of the defining, like, machine.
Right.
So everything before the engine, and then interesting.
There are some steampunks do include cars in them, but for the most part, steampunks it's steam and punk, so you mix like punk era in with the steam era, so pre-engine, combustion engine. They had engines, they just ran on steam and they ran on, some really crazy things like, well, hydrogen and things that we would, find dangerous today. But they also had belief in some other energies that didn't really exist, but they thought they did. Like ether was a big thing, and they thought it was a force and energy they could, capture and use. So, yeah, it's kind of fun.
So, a lot of bringing the present into the past, and I know, Raisa, you write time travel. So, you guys are both exploring with alternate histories. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and process and research and that stuff?
Was that for me or?
Yeah, you.
Anyone.
Well, I am a reformed history professor, so research comes naturally to me. And it's actually one of the things that I have to pull myself out of it. I have to say, okay, enough of that. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Come back and actually get your words down on your page. But research I think, is critical for science fiction in particular, because if you don't, and I think that's true of horror too to some extent, if you don't ground it in something, it's hard for that suspension of disbelief to really take hold. So I spend a lot of time on my research and making sure that the history is the history, and back at the back of the books I always put a section saying this is the part that's real history, and these are the sections where I took some liberties.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that you have historical notes at the end.
Yes.
I stopped short of footnotes, but I do at the end put, okay, here's the real history. And like in Time's Edge, the second book in the trilogy, I took liberties because there was an urban legend about a chapel that they came upon, and there were dead bodies in there, but nobody was alive in the village. And everybody in that area of Georgia says, yes, absolutely it happened, but I was never able to get any firm information on it. So I put that as, not exactly history, but maybe has some historical roots to it. So.
Well, I just want to say for the record that all the urban legends in my book are 100% true.
Cool.
No matter what anyone else
I'm frightened. Oh my goodness. So no liberties there. Okay, I want to say for the record that I took absolute liberty completely in my book, and none of that is true. None. How about you, Rachel?
Well, mine's, yeah, because
now.
I use ghost stories from LA, so I take urban LA legends and then take that story and play it off into a ghost story that's happening, like the ghost is there, that person was murdered, and so I take old cases or old things and then do it that way. This is modern day, so. But I love history.
So you do a lot of research then? Yours
Oh,
involves
yeah.
a lot of research.
Lots. And then, of course, I have the biblical parts, the time travel, because I have time travel in my book, too, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But but it's very, undercurrent. It's not main. That's not the main. I don't know if I just did a total spoiler there, but surprise! So...
I wouldn't necessarily call that a spoiler.
Okay, good.
No. Okay, so to clear that up, I did do some research too to make sure that the Victorian parts are real and stuff like that. The actual clothes and stuff. But I did make up clothes too, so I can't say that. I do research for the heck of it apparently. I do research and then I go, oh, that's really cool. I'm glad that's fact. Now I'm gonna just make stuff up. So I just use it to jump off of, I guess. So, but that's really cool.
I'm going to have to run.
Yeah.
I've got the kids with something they've got to go to tomorrow, and I got to get them to bed. So I probably won't succeed, but I'm going to try.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Raisa, for your time and for coming out. It's great. And Rachel, are you on your way too then? I see you waving, or are you waving to Raisa?
Oh, I was waving to her.
Okay, you can stay. That's awesome. Okay.
I still have 10 or 15 more minutes, I think. So.
All right, yeah, we'll go a little bit over because we started a little bit late. So, all right. So I want to hear more about.
I want to hear more about Rachel's book.
I know. I want to hear more about your book, Rachel. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Oh, me. Okay. Let's think. It's about a boy named Aiden. So it's basically it's urban fantasy. Takes place in LA. It has more of a Jewish world basis in the occult rather than like a Catholic type, and it's a little bit it's very gritty. I hear. I don't always know. I read this stuff and then people go, "Oh, that's scary." And I'm like, "Okay," but sorry. So I'm not sure. People have said it's too gory or it's more gritty than they're used to, but then other people say, that it's not that bad. So maybe it's kind of somewhere in the middle. And I have a lot of, like I said, ghost stories, and so I take some of the stuff that happened. I don't use a lot of it, but in book 2 I used an old urban legend about Mount Magoo Rock and how there was this Native American girl who was murdered there. So I have her ghost in that, and so it's kind of an interesting opportunity to kind of give imagery to some of the things that people don't know a lot about the history of LA. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I would have not known that at all. So that's really interesting. And tell us about yours now, Elise. You're that's based on all these creepy stories that now I'm all freaked out. So tell me about that a little bit more. How is, like, what are some of the things, what were some of the things that made you want to write that, like some of the stories that you explored?
So the book is based on several different urban legends in New Orleans. So kind of like we were talking, Rachel. And I love thinking about New Orleans and LA together because New Orleans is a city that people expect to have history, and I feel like Los Angeles is a place that people just expect to those modern plays, and it doesn't have history. So that makes me want to read your book really bad.
Yeah, I know, me too. I was thinking that seems more modern time than historical, yeah.
I love LA. So yeah, it's a. Are you guys hearing that echo?
Yeah, you're breaking up a
I
tiny
can hear an
bit.
echo. Yeah.
Okay, so it's really hard to talk. So I'm just going to pass because I keep getting this echo. It's really hard to hear. But I can ask you guys questions, more questions.
Okay, more questions then.
So, Jackie, in your book, your protagonist is Violet, which is one of my favorite character names. I love it. And also, one of your antagonists, Professor Smirk, is also one of my favorite character names. So I know with steampunk you talked a lot about, having to invent stuff, and you have all the different inventions. Like, do you have a process for making up names for all of this stuff? And Rachel, you can jump into the questions for both of you. I'm going to mute my mic. It's my computer doing the echoing thing. But
Okay, all right, so this is kind of weird, but sometimes I just wake up with stories in my head. I don't know if you guys do that. Like, I feel like a nut saying that, but it's true. And Lumiere came to me that way, and one of the very first things that came to me was that this girl's name was Islet, and I had no idea why she was Islet. Like, I was like, why is this word coming to me? And Islet as in, I knew right away it was Islet as in Islet the lace, like the stitch work that's on a beautiful outfit. And so, that's very typical in that era, that time frame, that they would have a lot of, design on their clothes like that. And so as it came to me, as the story started coming to me, it became more that I realized that her father had kind of like nicknamed her for a christening gown that she wore that had beautiful lace, but they were told there was something not right with their little baby girl. And in his mind, there was this question, and they were trying to hide it. And so in his mind, it was that she was the most beautiful thing, just like the eyelet on the dress. You can have holes in you, but still be the most beautiful thing. Like, the lace is all filled with holes, and what makes it so beautiful are the holes. If you just had the white part without the holes, it wouldn't be gorgeous. It wouldn't be a design. It wouldn't be beauty. It would just be a white piece of cloth. And so the holes are essentially what makes Islet the most beautiful thing. And so that's the same with my character. So that kind of like downloaded that morning, and I was like, oh, I need to write that. Like, I need her to be this, and that needs to be the cause. So that was how I came up with Islet. And so I don't know where that came from, like, who sent that to me, but somebody sent that to me, or something sent that to me. Very scary how my mind works sometimes. And Professor Smirk, I also love that name. At first, I had almost every critique partner I had said, you need to ditch this name. It has no vowels in it. No one will ever be able to say it. No word has no vowels. You made up this word, and it's silly. Get rid of it. And then I was like, totally no. I'm like Islet. It's like, don't do that. And I'm like, yes, okay, I will now do that 10 times more. And so I didn't listen at all. And the reason I hung on to it was I looked up the name. Actually, I was looking up names, and it was set in like 1890s. So I was looking up old obituaries. Like they had like lists of people who were buried in burial areas in England. And I found this old handwritten, ledger online somewhere, and it had that this person had died, and his last name was Smrt, S-M-R-T, and it said next to it that it was the last of the Smrts in maybe not the whole of England, but in that particular area or region. And it was noted that he had no children, nobody to pass the name on to, so the name was now, it kind of worded it, I don't know exactly how it worded it, but it was like, this name now rests with the dead. So it's over with. And I was like, oh, no, it's not.
Love it. Love it.
I resurrected the name, yeah, and I just loved it. So, I did it to the honor of the Smrts. I brought them back.
Right.
They're kind of evil, but at least they're back. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
Love that.
Yeah, so that was fun. And I often like comb graveyards for my names. So when I was in Charleston at YALFest a couple years ago with Veronica, I was trolling all these old, wow, did I come up with some great names. And just, they put names together like so wonderfully back then. I don't know if they meant to do that, but I remember there was a Bethany Buttons, and I just thought, I totally that would come back to life. Yeah. I don't know if there's a law against that, but I totally want Bethany Buttons back. And she might show up someday. So, and Bethany, I just thought, like, really? Was that a name that was popular in the 1850s or whatever it was? I have it written down somewhere. But, yeah, it was kind of rare for the time. And then I just thought, who thought of writing Bethany Buttons together? That's just awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 9:15, so maybe we better be cutting this off. But I thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with you girls, and I'm so glad that we got this to work eventually. And hopefully you'll be able to
Serious perseverance. Serious perseverance.
Yes. I'm hoping that people will watch it on YouTube at least, and we haven't like completely ruined the night. So, but special thanks to all you girls. Thank you for putting up with me.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
So excited.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to see what I'll do. My little book that could.
Doing for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again, girls. And I'm going to sign off on the broadcast.
Have a good night. Bye, Rachel.
Good night.
Around. Enjoy your virtual treat.
Yum.
Okay, bye.